late. It was my fault. We were doing XP, and I was just being sure that I knew what everybody had, and just GM things. So, with that being said, let's get right into the recap. What happened in the previous session of Kill Team Last Bastion?
A fair bit. I'll lead if you guys don't mind. That works for me.
Go for it.
Okay, so our party, or at least I should say the kill team, began to fight their way through this underground complex. As we've sort of mentioned in the past, there was already a beachhead that was sort of established. As we burrowed our way into this temple complex using a modified boarding torpedo, which, by the way, this is on the bottom of the ocean floor that we've done this from a Mechanicus submarine. And we, along with a fire team of Admex Skitari, as well as also the Inquisitor we rescued, busted into this underground complex, hunting ostensibly for the big target that we were here to kill, which is likely a Necron Lord or something to destroy or disrupt this complex. But also, at least in Zaxxan's case for sure, hunting for our lost teammate, who we knew was still alive. And very quickly we began to realize, hey, I'm getting a signal ping from his life signs. He's alive. Somehow. And we began to fight our way through until we entered this large chamber, whereupon we saw pass to the next person, because this is a lot of spoilers.
Very good. Next person.
I'll go next. Whereupon they saw me suspended next to a Necron Cryptek. And we, from there was a very brief exchange between the Cryptek and our glorious leader, Helicarpion. And that those negotiations very quickly broke down into a firefight. Negotiations in air quotes, because we're Space Marines. It's what we do. The kill team managed to push forwards, and Dietrich somehow managed to break out of the force field and engaged in one-on-one combat with the Cryptek. From there, Helicarpion took a pretty devastating blow, and I'll hand it off to you.
You would say that Red said take a drink.
Mm.
So yeah, we got shot pretty good, lost weapon, retaliated in kind, and used some tactical marine nonsense and chicanery to help people move into position and rally to take down all of the horrible creatures that were around. We had a lot of scarabs, we had a lot of spiders, we had Necron warriors. It was just a pretty big clusterfuck. And I was more focused on trying to keep my HP up because I was on death's door. I had like 3 critical wounds left, so I don't remember what everyone else was doing. I just remember being like, oh God, I hope nothing shoots me. I'll be honest. So I will pass it off to the rest of the party.
Very good. No, that's not everybody.
I specifically remember Sugan doing some shenanigans.
You're muted.
You're muted, honey. Honey, you're muted.
He's wordless. I hope you know that I didn't even make a noise when I did that. I just made the face. My window was open and I opened my mouth and I shouldn't make a noise. I don't know. That scared me. What was I saying? So Sugan, I made an oath to the chat that I would push literally everything that I did psychic-wise. So what I did was I pushed something and I perils and gave everybody corruption. The moment that the Inquisitor came into the room and he was just on the edge of it, just enough to be able to hear it and be like, good wood. And like he saw me literally pretty much channeling the Stank Father. And
the Stank Father,
the fart dad upstairs. He corrupted all of us a little bit, and yeah, Sugan was pretty much just kind of. Other than that, Sugan was just tanking, or at least doing his best to tank the entire time, and intervened in the duel because Sugan just like, no. He failed his stubbornness test when he was told by Dietrich to like, no, go fight somebody else, and Sugan for the first time didn't listen to one of his brothers. He's just like, no, and he just ran in, started attacking, and yeah, that's kind of what Sugan was up to.
Yeah,
that session at least.
Blasting people with warp fire and
Oh
shit.
yeah, I did nasty smites and just like, oh, so good.
It was pretty fucking sick. Oh yeah.
Psychic fun.
And I believe Elise, you are the only person that has not given me a recap. We can stall for no longer.
I specifically remember Hercilia and the Inquisitor Vincent having a little interaction when Sugan fucked us up with that corruption. And Hercilia got to save the day a bit with Dietrich because he got flung. He's about to just plummet into the eternal abyss. And I was able to use my jump pack and snatch him and get Data in to save the day. Heal him up.
Lots of saving went around.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I think... Oh, God, it's been so long. I've had such a long 2 weeks. Was it Helicoprion that took down the Cryptech Master?
It was Dietrich.
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
You're good.
What happened at the end of that combat was, so Dietrich couldn't hit the Cryptech, but the Cryptech couldn't really hurt him either. So it's just kind of this, okay, Dietrich hits the guy, his force field kicks in, the guy hits back, Dietrich parries, because we're sharing our reactions. And
Which in
Sugan
my
joins
mind
in,
was
and
like people taking pot shots at the Cryptech, like from their position, like just making him redirect from the
Yeah.
last moments. It was a beautiful bout of teamwork in my mind.
yeah, it was great. But at the last second when Tsugen joined in, they got a shot. He managed to hit Tsugen, and Tsugen was already a little hurt by this point. So Dietrich flung himself in front of Tsugen to not let his brother die, and was flung promptly into that, prompting Hercilia to jump pack him towards Daxon, and Daxon to pump him full of combat narcotics. We don't know what's happened to that Cryptech. They're not dead. They're out there. We didn't beat him.
Mm-hmm. You did beat him. Very good. That is a full recap. I'm very proud. Thank you very much, everybody.
Woo.
It is in the aftermath of this chaos that we resume our story. There are no scraps of necrodermic metal lying around. There are not even really any weapons lying around. There's not anything remaining of the Cryptech. But there is only you. Inquisitor Zara Vincent stands at the base of the stairs to this obelisk, looking from each of you and clearing his throat before speaking. You have done well. I never would have gotten here without you. What broke me lies within this cogitator unit, for lack of a better term. Only I understand it. I'm a psi-linguist. It was always my specialty. And it was my curse which led to the breaking of my mind. I will stop them. I will bring this whole damned city down on their heads. In his holy name. Brother Helicoprion, there will be but a moment where I might redirect some of the energy, tear open a pathway back to the city where you came from on this planet. You must direct your kill team to move out. Do you understand?
Helicoprion nods.
I never was one for goodbyes, so let's be about this then. And he is going to make his way up and start.
Can
Yeah.
As he's walking up, Daxan's going to ping him on the quiet comm. What should I tell the Inquisitor?
Tell her I'm sorry. Tell her I'm sorry that I couldn't be the man that she thought I was. Tell her that I will wait for her in the arms of the God Emperor.
Daxan would just nod. The Emperor protects.
He says this without breaking stride, just continuously making his way up to the plinth and holding his hands out. There's this low, resonant energy sound, this kind of with a static discharge at the low level. And two rods come up on either side of the plinth. He rotates his hands, which forces them together before he steps forward one final time and places his hand upon the plinth. What do you guys do?
First of all, I need to roll 11d10 to see how much bonus at renown I get. Let's see. How many tens? Not a single one. Yeah, let's go. Whoa. No
Nice.
bonus renown for me.
Shit. Oof.
Damn, I'm sorry.
Wasn't
You did
meant
get
to
the
be
one
much
for the
rough,
helmet
buddy.
thing, though.
That's true. That's true. So I got a total of 11.
Daxan's waiting on Helicoprian's command. He says
Likewise.
go, I say jump.
We're gonna wait until things trigger, and then we're gonna definitely be hauling ass.
So I guess I got a little bit confused. The Inquisitor's going to bring down the pyramid.
Yep.
Okay, I'm sad.
Yeah.
I'm very sad.
He doesn't spare a look back at you, knowing that it's his duty. And in the background, you can all start to hear a low chittering. Slowly becomes the sound of a roar, like an audience full of people cheering. But it is no hail of victory. No, you see it moments later. A veritable flood of scarabs pouring out of the southern end of the corridor astride 3 canoptic spiders. And as 2 wraiths drop down on top of the Inquisitor at the last moment. Can I get awareness tests from everyone?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Priscilla, it would make sense that you would see it. To everyone else's eyes, these wraiths, somehow in their heretical, abominable minds, missed the trajectory. They miscalculated, and their blades fall short. But Hercilia, you see, in this moment of moments, a golden glimmer sheening around this man, like a cocoon of light, breaking the wraiths in two as they fall into the field of energy before, cascading out now from the base. Now you all can see this golden light burning from within the center of what was once green, brilliant and blinding. A sound like metal tearing metal rends open before you, cutting off your vision of Inquisitor Vincent. And on the other side, you see a green lit sky, rife with fire and war. And a sound of a great horn blasts its concordance. Bellowing as a god machine, churning into view, surrounded by 6 smaller Reaver Titans, chained together, unleashes its fury. This is your moment to leave one battlefield and to enter another.
Is there a clear path? Is there a path?
Is there a path, period? Yeah.
There is.
What are my homies looking like health-wise? Dietrich, probably not looking so great. Me, not looking so great. Is anyone actually looking decent
Me.
health-wise?
Me. I didn't take a single scratch.
Hell yeah.
I can
Devastator life.
Well, yeah, then you're going to go out in front.
Yeah, I guess I'll take point.
Yeah.
I mean, I could take it, but
Nope.
Quiet you.
You're going to take rear guard.
oh, okay, fine. I'll do tank. I'll take rear guard.
Right now, I'm more worried about what's behind us.
That's fair. Okay,
That's one.
a fair
That's,
point.
that's one sketchy ass Inquisitor that's like, yeah, it'll be fine. I got you. I'll hold this. I'm like, yeah, fuck it. I'm going to put the tank in the back.
Grab
All
my
right,
psychic knuckle.
that's the orders.
Onwards charges Kill Team Last Bastion once more into the fray. Moments after Sugin's feet pass through the portal, it shatters like glass behind him. And as the tide of scarabs swarm and swarm, many being completely obliterated in that lambent sphere of energy, with the last dying breath, Inquisitor Zer Vincent says, "The Emperor protects."
bad.
The next few hours are a blur. You are safe behind Imperial lines as you transverse from the bottom of the sea instantaneously back to its surface. And then you're killing and killing and killing again. There's I guess montage is the best term for it. Many more actions pulling Imperial forces back as the Titans finally are being deployed. This is the only chance the Imperium of Man has for stopping this war, ceasing the awakening protocols across the whole planet. And it was successful. Only Inquisitor Vincent deactivating the awakening sequence shut this down fully, but it was the efforts of Kill Team Last Bastion that got him there. And though your deeds may not be known by any, the few that you take with you will carry your name upon their lips until they die. The war rages on until such a time as the Imperium is able to repel the Necrons. With the Titans, it was a matter of 20 hours. What forces remained planetside covered the retreat of the megalith before it rapidly began its ascension up into the atmosphere. The Angelus Invictus, close enough to see what became of it, reported it transmuting into that of a massive, what is being dubbed Cairn-class tomb ship, before it crippled the Invictus and disappeared. The megalith suffered one final attack in its retreat from the warlord titan Lucifer, herald of the Photonic Choir. It scored open a part of its bottom with its Hellstorm cannon, a weapon normally too large for that of a warlord class. The corresponding relics that fell from the wreckage were quickly seized upon by the Inquisition and its various agents. They invoked their rights over the Arbites and other local PDF forces. It was at this time that certain relics went missing. And for 6 months, Inquisitor Quist had assumed control as planetary governor until they were all recovered. In the 6 months, you worked both together and apart from one another as leaders for the local forces in gaining these back. And at the end of this 6-month period, six months of scouring and scourging, the Angelus Invictus is repaired and ready to leave dry dock. I am going to give you guys a little bit of time to tell me what you think made most sense for your character to have done in those 6 months.
Armor.
Thank you.
I mean, seriously, too, making artificer armor is not an easy feat. It's something that takes a long time to do because it's high quality shit.
Absolutely.
Like
Um,
most artificer armor is heresy era, so new sets don't come along very often. Makes total
No.
sense. It would take months for you to make a new set.
Yeah, Sugan is literally building this from the ground up. He just took it out of the sprues, and he's shaving off the layer lines,
Drilling
Mold
the-
lines.
Okay.
Yeah, and he
This
also
armor came.
What'd you say? So?
This armor came from Zenithal Prime.
Hey, Red, I got it for you right here.
Thanks, pal. Okay. My sprues are all over here. Otherwise, I would have reached. That would have been would have been a great transition.
Yeah.
Okay, no, making sense to me. 6 months, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. What does your armor look like? What are some differences about each? You can feel free to share the additional armor buff that you get out of it too.
Sorry, I was literally just gonna say you were just what difference is it? I was just gonna say it's bigger. No, but so
Zip.
we were talking about that before session. Anyway, artificer armor is very intricate. It's not like Space Marine armor where it's just smooth paneling. Every single bit of the paneling is just covered in greebly type things, and those greeblies are usually inscriptions and stuff like that. And so I rolled to add an additional history to my armor, and I got a 10, which means appropriately enough, I gained the talent hatred, and I get to choose what hatred that is. I chose
Oh.
Death Guard. So
That's hilarious. We were literally talking about that.
we were
earlier.
literally talking about it. We were 100%
Nice.
talking about it. Sugan has inscribed this with countless words, sentences, that's what I'm looking for.
Litanies.
Monologues and litanies of just his sincerest hatred for Grandfather Nurgle and how he will righteously rip them from the warp just to kill them. Just in hot pursuit of killing them. He also made the pauldrons even bigger because I know how much Elise loves the giant pauldrons on Space Marine armor. So I made them even bigger to account for the fact that I am going to have housed 2 Space Marine helmets in them, so they have an appropriate place rather than just hanging.
Cool.
And inside of them is burning this this hot red flame. I'm describing World of Warcraft transmogs, aren't I?
Sounds fucking sick. I love it.
And Sugan still refuses to wear the helmet, but he does have the helmet, and the helmet has this very large plume of feathers on it.
That's awesome.
And yeah, he's also just completely covered head to toe in lizard skin of Nocturne, just any part like a cloak, just sort of underneath the shoulders that falls over him, and he can draw out curtains around the rest of himself. And
Oh, yeah.
he's looking spiffy. He's looking a lot darker
Drippy.
too. He also he is drip or drown. So he's got that cloak, but all his psyker robes. They're no longer white and bright like you would expect a Dark Angel psyker to be. He's completely changed all of his robes to that red lizard skin of Nocturne.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
He's on his Sith arc right now.
That is cool as hell.
Skywalker.
Hell yeah, man. Love it. Awesome. Very cool.
Thank you, sir.
Helicoprion. What do you do with your down? I guess this is the closest thing that a Space Marine gets to downtime is running missions on a planet that don't require 24/7 attention.
Probably doing 24/7 attention on missions, unfortunately. Yeah, after I recover, make sure the arm still works. I probably will be one of the premier aquatic specialists on board here. But I don't think I'm actually on the planet much. I think I'm actually in orbit a lot more than you guys would ever expect. Something that comes out during this time is Helicoprion served aboard the vessels that the Carcharodons use. So even amongst cold-hearted, absolute stone-cold badass killers, he was renowned for his patience and fighting battles at literal thousands of kilometers away and waiting for death to come. So that's probably what he's doing. He's up there lending his expertise, because when it comes to it, I mean, honestly, there's not a lot of Space Marines that have that expertise.
Okay. I think that you can make me a awareness
Uh-oh.
check.
God, I'm rolling on my downtime. We're fucked now, guys.
It'll be fine.
Can I roll willpower instead? I'd like to roll willpower instead. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Daxan, what are you doing with your downtime?
So, first off,
Other than putting it back together.
yeah, I was gonna say someone has to notice that. So I'm gonna just lay it out there. I don't think Daxan has much free time. Y'all gave him a lot to do, so I figure the first month of that is probably nothing but let's see how many Marines we can get through the ICU successfully with minimal complications.
Dietrich
I
is
will
going to
oversee
so much surgery.
I was gonna say I will oversee each and every single one of those Marines that are from my squad during your surgery, because Sugan, as much as he loves you, doesn't trust you.
Oh, that's fair. That's 100% fair.
Sugan will not
yeah.
say that he does not trust you, but he will oversee each and every single one of them.
I will
yeah.
make comments regarding Dietrich's surgeries when it's my turn.
That's very fair. So yes, he would oversee all the surgical augmentations, repairs. You're all required. Many of you also have undergone a degree of corruption as well, which means my job as an apothecary isn't merely to treat your body, but to ensure your spirit and biology are untainted by Xeno's filth. So once I'm certain that you're all passably non-heretical, which honestly he'd probably, I genuinely believe he's the sort of person that, like, when it comes down to that, here's the questionnaire: does this Marine pass as non-heretical? And he'd probably, like, with a couple of them, sort of like smudge them with like passes. But as far as once the whole squad is checked out and good to go, he would spend probably a great deal of his time either attending the local forces down on the planet or the many different individuals who've been injured both in space conflict and on the ground. He is a triage surgeon, so he's used to combat medicine, and he would spend a great deal of his time doing that. The remaining time, he would probably spend in the arming cages, increasing his skill with the blade, and largely that would be where he spends most of his energy. That, and also introducing his new ward to the ship as well. I imagine he would have gotten him used to the arming cages, his equipment, as well as also trading some notes on his views on technology.
You have a ward?
I do, yes. Remember our little tech adept?
Oh God, he survived?
Yeah.
He did! He
And you brought him with you?
Yes!
It's a
He
good
was
story,
part of the
Twink.
fire team. Yeah.
Like hymns.
He's good boy. Good person.
Saloy.
I bet he is.
Yes. Get the fuck out of here. Adam Saloy is not for you to be gross about. Adam Saloy will forever be protected in the purity seals on the other side of the room. Literal purity seals.
You don't know what
Anyway.
Adept Saloy's got beneath his robes.
Yeah. But that is primarily how Daxon would spend his time.
You are not
I'm a
immune
bisect-
to femboy Skatari propaganda.
Stop! Oh my god.
Happy
Very
toaster
good.
noises.
Make an awareness check test, please.
Of course.
Fuck is this shit?
All right, here we go. Let's see.
Fail.
Where it is.
I just want to see what happens if you fail. That's fine.
See, not plus 10. No, I don't get plus 10. This is base. 4.4 degrees of success.
Okay. Dietrich, what are you doing with your downtime?
I imagine that it actually takes like it's what, 6 months of downtime, basically.
That is correct.
I imagine that the first month is exclusively spent in various operating rooms. Like, I imagine that Dietrich's fused rib cage basically has to be completely reconstructed. But before that can happen, his internal organs, some of them are artificial. Like he has a mechanical heart. That has to be extracted, repaired, and then reimplanted, and he has to be kept alive during, sustained during that entire time. And then once that's done, he has to be put back together. His armor has to be put back together. His jump pack has to be put back together. And yeah, so I imagine that like all of that put together takes a full month just to get through. And once they're all done, it's only because he's in Astartes that he can basically just get back on his feet and like walk around without too much issue. But even then, he probably takes it slow for a bit. So I imagine that he's not super active in a lot of the operations. He's more like, I mean, Dietrich's fellowship isn't terrible. It's 42, so I'm like, it's not Helicoprions, but it's pretty good. But I imagine that he's actually kind of coordinating between different officers aboard the Angelus Invictus as kind of like just like a secondary officer of sorts, which he chafes at quite a lot, and he spends most of his time building his strength back up in the various sparring chambers of this ship, and he practices quite a lot.
Like on the verge of almost setting back your healing.
Yeah, like he has to be stopped a couple times because of that.
Maybe Helicoprion has to tell you what once or twice, like, dude, stop. Okay,
Yeah,
make
like
an
if-
awareness test.
Yeah, if Helicoprion is like if Helicoprion orders him, then he stops. But beyond that, he doesn't really listen to anyone else.
I sure as hell don't order you to stop. Fucking go ham.
Cool.
Hercilia, what are you doing with your downtime?
So I'm thinking, Inquisitor Quest, if I remember correctly, Inquisitor Quest handpicked Hercilia from amongst the Celestians for this venture. So I'm thinking that she's working with Inquisitor Quest at her behest for basically being like a private operative for her while all of this is going on, running
Yeah.
errands, gathering information,
Absolutely.
doing what needs to be done.
No, that totally makes sense. That absolutely makes sense. Cool. Make an awareness test. All right. And I think I missed Sugan earlier, didn't I? Make an awareness test, Sugan.
Oh, yeah. Sure as Where me sheet? There me sheet.
Where is she?
Well, let me shoot.
All right.
Cool.
So, starting back at the top of the left to right here, as far as me and Chad are seeing you, Sugan, you are hard at work in the forges on the Angelus Invictus. The Magos here was kind enough to take time away from his onboarding of Adept Saloy and also, his normal tech priesty duties, whatever that is. He has been kind enough to let you use his forge. You found that it's actually incredible. It pains you to say it, but it actually rivals that of some of what you've seen on Nocturne, and it's on a ship here. Keep in mind, it's not as big, but they have what you would only consider like some lost technology stuff aboard this vessel. Probably been here since long before the current owner of this vessel has been in command of it.
Sugan's a little bit jealous. He is very gregarious, so he's very much sort of like, oh, that's so good for you, I'm happy for you. But he's also just sort of like, fuck you, because I wish I had these. But he's also more so than I say he's like 10% to 20% jealous, 80% just like excited / relieved to be in something so familiar to him. So he just like folks at home that are cooks, walking into a kitchen and just looking around the kitchen, you can just know where everything is, just like that. So Sugan feels walking into the forge. He immediately knows where all the tools are. He knows where to get started, what he's going to do, and he immediately just sets to work, rather wordlessly. He's very appreciative, and he would express his appreciation. But after that, he would be dead silent, busy tapping away his hammer on the anvil.
Awesome. So I think I want to say maybe 4 months into the 6-month period, while you're hammering away at this piece of the pauldron that you're carving out to place the significantly, well, I don't, maybe not significantly, but substantially larger helm of Mago into your new pauldron. Um, there comes a at the door. When you turn, you see a slender, all black form, a little androgynous in appearance, but you recognize it immediately as the Vindicare assassin, Nile Z.
It's my friend. Niall, it is good to see you, my friend. And Sugan like instantly remembers him, even though they haven't spoken in literal months. Just like,
That's Space Marine memory.
yeah, just I suffer no insult. I forget nothing. I forget nothing. To forget is to forgive, but to forget is also to be a bad space marine.
That's fair. He says, heard things got pretty hairy down there.
Yes, unfortunately, yes. But all is well. I believe here everything is better than it could have been. I feel.
Well, you know, a lot of work going on down there.
Yes, I mostly elected to stay uninvolved. The planet is not of much interest to me. I have not had much time to myself. I'm not how you say, I'm not one who seeks solace, but this forge, it is a comforting place.
He like
It's
looks
like
around you.
blisteringly, yeah, it's blisteringly hot in here. It is like inhumane what the temperatures are. Like a normal person could not survive. It's like you opened up a hot box of like boiling lava. Like as soon as this guy walks in, he just like, like the scene from Shark Boy and Lava Girl where the guy's like getting like melted away. That's what it's like opening that door. It's just like, oh my god.
He's doing his best not to show it, and to be fair, he is also augmented. Not to the same extent that a Space Marine is, but he's also got a pretty nice suit of armor. He, which he wears at all times. He says, "Well, truth be told, I was wondering if you'd be able to step away for a day or two."
Well, I would be happy to make this exception for a friend, of course. What business is this on?
Some of these Xenos cultists seized some of the things that fell out of that megalith. I pinpointed one of the leaders, and, well, I could use a distraction.
Well, I would be happy to assist. I do abhor the Xenos, especially these unfamiliar to me. It makes me paranoid to not know much about them.
Heretic's a heretic. The Emperor's justice is my devotion. Hellfire rounds are my worship. And get me a fellowship roll to see how good you do on this mission with your buddy.
Yeah. I'm gonna go smite some motherfuckers. Let's see. So fellowship, I don't have my helmet on, even during this mission. So I get a +5 to that test. I don't need it. I don't need no damn helmet. Okay, let's see. 5. Oh well. I'm gonna go ahead and use one of my fate points to reroll that. That's much better.
Very good. Very good. You have successfully completed this mission alongside Niall. You communicated with him expertly. You did exactly what he needed you to do when you needed him to do it. And I think maybe even at one moment, like when he was collecting the bio identification to confirm a kill on what was remaining of the guy after the bioacid ate through him. I think you probably like saved his life. Maybe not saved his life, but at least saved him from getting like stabbed in the back by a Xenos cultist and then having to deal with that whole thing. But yeah, you definitely feel like at the end of this, the two of you got a little bit closer.
My friend. My friend that everybody else in the collective group abhors, which makes it even funnier to me. Every single one of you guys, except for Elise, has like this hatred of the Assassinorum, which is really fucking funny to me.
I don't really hate them. I just think they're kind
You're
of
just
trivial.
Helicoprion.
They're just kind of trivial. Like, oh, that's cute.
Trivial. You said trivial when Assassinorum have taken out like Space Marine lieutenants. It's
Bro,
the
I don't know
Primarch.
about that. I've been out in the
Oh, yeah, they have
fucking
taken
wood,
out
like the
Space
space
Marine.
woods forever, dude.
The
The
Space
Space
Woods.
Woods.
Yeah, no.
Come
Out
on.
in
Me
the
and Dylan were
boonies.
around when those guys came for our fucking wigs. We have reason to be grievous about it.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Why is Space Marine lieutenants the metric there? Look at every named character that isn't Space Marines. They have a Space Marine lieutenant on their base.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like the starting point, though, to indicate my character means business. There's a Space Marine lieutenant as part of the terrain.
Yeah. So, like, well, I was thinking that I completely forgot they assassinated a Primarch.
I mean, he let it
Uh,
happen. Still,
He's
had
just
to
like
kill a lot of Space
you,
Marines to get there.
you can kill me.
But
I like it.
death
good,
is
Chief.
nothing compared to
Go for it.
vindication. Helicoprion.
What?
There's a couple of times when you're all alone because, you know, mortals unfortunately have to sleep, but you don't. And you're kind of running in the command tower, right? Kind of running headquarter for a lot of these missions.
I guess. Yeah, sounds right.
I thought that was what you said. Am I
Sure.
mischaracterizing you?
Nope, works well.
Okay. There's a couple of times when these mortals had to go to sleep and you were left alone in command by yourself. And you get this feeling of unease, like you're back under the ocean, down even further below the very bottom. It only lasts for a few moments. You can't quite put your finger on what's causing it, but it does not happen just once. Happens with increasing frequency over the 6-month period until finally by about the 4-month mark, it becomes almost omnipresent. Always there. Whether you're in the command deck or you're in the chow or you're in the shower, if you take a shower. It follows you. It lingers. Until you realize that it's not something that's stuck to you. It's stuck to the very concept of something that you are a part of. It's stuck into the very being of this ship,
Which ship am I on?
the Angelus Invictus.
Fabulous. And this is distinctly like an underwater vibe I'm getting.
Yeah.
And I don't like it.
It's a lot of pressure.
Okay.
It's almost claustrophobic. I don't know if Helicoprion would get claustrophobia.
I mean,
Space
probably
Marines ideally don't really have any phobias for the most part, but you know, some things are developed.
not. No. We're the only locals, right?
What do you mean by locals?
Like the only local Death Watch.
That is correct. You're the only Space Marines in the system that you know of.
Well, I'm going to do what any good traumatized child soldier will do, and I'm going to just bury that and process it later.
All right. Very well.
That hurts how accurate that is.
Hey, I mean, that's what a Space Marine is.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
You know, like you ever say something and it just kind of sounds like something else. Like the way you said that, just like everybody nodded in confidence. It reminded me of like how they answer things on the Family Feud. They're like, "Oh, I think it's gonna be this," and they're all clapping, and Steve Harvey's just like,
Are you okay?
I felt like Steve Harvey right there. I was just like, traumatized
Kiefer Gore.
child soldier.
The short version, none of us are okay.
Yeah, no.
Dexan.
Mhm.
There's a long period of time where you are left alone. There's ample Medicaid planet-side, and the only people that you're really seeing to appear have been Dietrich and whatever like VIPs that have been close enough to a shuttle to get to you. So you've had a good amount of time to get to know Adept Saloy. Because Adept Saloy has been at your heels every chance that he got. That is to say, when he wasn't busy learning from the Magos. It is upon one of these instances of him hounding your footfalls, asking you everything that he can about your armor, and you having to tell him again and again and again that you can't tell him. He's not allowed to know that. If you tell him, you have to kill him.
I feel like Dax would be very patient about it at the very least.
That's fair. Every man has their breaking point. And it's when he feels that he might have pushed it a little too far, because he can tell that you're like, maybe you're being very patient with him, but maybe it's in your body language, your facial expression, just something lets loose that like, okay, you're getting on my nerves. He says, well, we all have secrets. I thought secrets make friends. And you wouldn't think anything of it, probably. Except for the fact that they're not really supposed to share their secrets either. And he's clearly been doing something with the Magos.
Daxian's going to slowly turn towards him and raise an eyebrow. Adept Saloy, you're not wrong. Sometimes friends can be made through shared secrets. And he leans down and gets on one knee so that he's eye level with him. Because again, Daxian's big even by Marine standards. He's Primaris, so he big. So he has to go like full down on one knee until he's eye level. That said, different secrets for different friends. Tell me, have you been making many friends on board?
I don't know if I could consider the Magos my friend, but I mean, he's had me helping him every day for 12 relative hours, which are actually like 2 hours longer than Terran standard hours.
You get used to it eventually.
You know what the math is on that? It's not good.
He pauses. He pauses, and there's part of me that wonders, like, he's the kind of bored scholar. Like, he is very studious. I wouldn't be surprised if he, like, sets his chronometron, like, manually. Just for the challenge. So I figured kind of just, like, the math is pretty extreme. So he's been helping the Magos ever. Tell me, has the Magos asked anything about me? They haven't approached me yet. I would love to meet them, if you'd be so kind as to introduce me.
Oh, well, the Magos can only speak in binaric, so I'd have to translate for you, but I can introduce you, sure.
That would be wonderful.
We see the two of
And,
you.
yeah, he's gonna follow.
Yeah, we see the two of you walking through the halls until you make your way to the same level that Sugin has been working tirelessly on his armor. But again, we're at about 4 months in, and Sugin's actually not there right now. Uh, did you leave a note or anything, Sugin, as to where you went?
Gone killing again.
Sugan didn't leave any sort of like notice of his departure because he didn't anticipate departing. But he's always the sort of like yes man kind of guy.
Big
just like
yes energy.
he will never tell somebody no, especially if it means making a friend or pleasing a friend. So he's just sort of just like he's like, do you want to go kill some Xenos cultists? He's like, yes. I will grab my arm.
He a real
Runs
one
up.
is what you're saying.
He is a real
Party
one.
in the band.
He's a real one. He is here to please. But yeah, he's like weirdly missing, even though he's been there every single fucking waking minute for the past 4 months.
So you might find that a little curious, but a little bit further on, like on the opposite side of the corridor, is where the other half of the Magos' workshop is, and on the inside, after the adept enters in the access code, you find the quite large, and I can show everybody the image. Oops, wrong thing.
Please do.
Show to players. The Magos, which is very clearly going to stand out when you see the image.
Yeah. You mean the guy on the bald one on the right? That guy? That's the guy. No, I know what you're talking
Yeah. He looks up from where he's working on what is very clearly a combat knife, an Astartes grade combat knife. Only you don't seem to see any blade on it. It just looks like the handle. Yet you see we'll call it a stray fiber from the Magos' robe, just loosened and falls. It severs perfectly in half, about 6 inches away from the hilt, where it is now, where you note, resting on a little pedestal. He says something in binaric, and the adept replies in like, to which he then turns to you and says, he bids you welcome.
Daxan inclines his head. Thank you. Your forge is marvelous. Many wonders to behold.
He chirps very quickly and says, the adept, he says, he wants to express gratitude that the Omnisaya saw fit to grace him with such a laboratory.
I mean, this is Omni thinking about how to phrase this. He's going to put a hand on Saloy's shoulder and then gesture around the chamber. The Adept Mechanicus and the Astartes have always stood side by side. You clad us in armor and weapons and war gear, and we lend you our might. That symbiosis has brought us much, has it not, throughout the history of the Imperium?
He bows and says something in binaric, to which, again, the adept replies. He says that it is good that the Emperor of mankind was seen as the Omnisaya, that we might all be unified and work together towards the eradication of the heretic and the scourging of the Mecha heretical.
He nods.
Seems very zealous, this one.
Yeah, Daxan would draw note of that. However, you would know that despite our long-standing agreements to cooperate, there is some degree of mutual respect afforded one another. I do not pry into the depths of your knowledge, as do you respect the sovereign and pivotal knowledge given to Astartes adepts and equerries. Is that not the way of things? And he is wearing his helmet right now, so you can't see his face. His voice is very clearly, slightly becoming a little more strained.
He bows again in the translation. Indeed, but it is the adepts and magos of Mars that make such weapons of war that your brotherhood wields.
True. Then, we do as we always do. We compromise. And gently still has his hand on Saloy's shoulder. He just brings his other gauntlet hand, just gently pats Saloy on the chest, in like a reassuring kind of like, attaboy kind of way. Adept Saloy is to be my equerry. They will tend my armor and my war gear. They may yet know my secrets, but they will be bound by the oath of an Astartes equerry. And I expect you to respect that, Magos. Is that clear?
He chirps, and without even speaking binaric, you understand that it's an affirmative, like a gulp affirmative. Maybe like some scrap code at first before beep doop.
He would nod. I'm grateful for your service thus far and the work you do. I look forward to many more years of working together, if the Emperor wills it. Good day, Magos. Come, Saloy, we have work to do. He's going to stride towards the same way he came in. And at this point, you would see that on his back, this whole time, he has had his blade with the bipole on it in a draw position.
Yeah, the Magos does not move until you are gone. He just stays exactly where he is, still as a statue, until the door
comes closed behind you.
Once he's outside the chamber with Saloy, he's going to kneel down next to him. The Magos is curious. I've dealt with his kind before. There's nothing wrong with seeking those answers. However, I meant what I said. If you are to be our equerry, care to our war gear, assist us in the field, then you must swear an oath to us, much as chapter serfs do. It is a matter of great seriousness. You will still be able to work with the Magos. But no, taking an oath like this, it is only exceeded in seriousness by the oaths that Astartes themselves take. And though you will not become part of the Death Watch, as far as I'm concerned, Saloy, you will become a part of the Knights Numenary and a member of my chapter. Serf or not.
He bows his head, unsure of what to even say, and goes down to one knee. I accept, my lord.
Then rise. First rule. The Knights Numenary have no one bow to them. Second, and he's going to produce his combat knife and hand it to him. That is yours. Defend yourself with it. I have my own blade. And he's going to walk towards the arming cages.
Yeah, I think we close out on the scene, zooming out with Saloy just looking down at this massive fuck-off blade in his hands.
Just give him a short sword.
The weight of responsibility now heavy on his mechadendrites. Dietrich.
What's up?
You too have felt this presence, this pressure building. And it goes away It goes away when you go to the cages, when you go in practice. It goes away completely right there when you're on the edge, when you know you're setting your healing back or you're on the verge of it. It's kind of latent disharmony in the space that you're in, as if everything's maybe an inch to the left, maybe the right, maybe it's an inch down or up. I think there's a moment right before Helicoprion walks in and tells you for real this time, like, you have to calm down. You have to stop training so hard. I think there's this moment where you're seeing yourself back at the top of that ziggurat at the bottom of the ocean. A green trail of energy, brilliant as a star, illuminating the background as you face down against the cryptek again. You're parrying, you're weaving, bullets, or rather bolts, are flying over you. There's a massive las cannon blast that sends this cryptek skittering into a million pieces before he instantly reforms again. And you feel the presence once more as the words echo in your mind. Death is only the beginning.
When I hear those words, I pause what I'm doing, and I seek an audience with the Inquisitor.
She takes herself away from the planetary governorship for but maybe a few minutes, and she appears before you on the hololithic display. Yes, Brother Dietrich, what can I do for you?
So I assume that Dietrich said that, like, he requested her audience immediately. So he's not in his armor or anything. He's in his training garb, which is just a Astartes workout clothes and a robe, essentially. And he tells her, I need you to probe my mind.
For what? Are you concerned that you have the mark of the Xenos or the heretic? For I am unavailable to do so now. I would have to come back to the Invictus, or you would more than likely have to come down here to me.
I do. And while I do not appreciate your order, I value your skill and your certainty in this matter.
Which order do you not prefer, Brother Dietrich? You can tell that she's like at her wit's end, trying to manage all of this shit. She's fraying, letting the mask slip a little bit.
I need you, Quist. None of my brothers can help me.
I'll arrange for a shuttle. Be in the Primaris Citadel, top floor. 1 hour. And
Understood.
The next scene we get is Dietrich flying down the sky, a sickly pink and marred red from the battles that took place below it not so long ago. It's hard to believe that it was 4 months. 4 months of grueling, agonizing surgery and training. But as you arrive, make your way inside and up the lifter, of the Citadel Primaris once more, you find Inquisitor Adriel Quist standing where Lord Governor Castus Acton once stood. Brother Dietrich, sit.
I sit.
What is it you're hoping that I'm going to find? Or maybe fearing is the proper term.
Astartes do not sleep as mortals do. But I am dreaming of something that happened beneath the water. I fear it may have left a mark on me. If I am wrong, I apologize for having wasted your time. But we need to be sure.
It is normal to have doubts, Brother Dietrich. It is whether or not you choose to entertain them that makes or breaks the man. And with that, you feel your head rocking back as your eyes completely whited out. We zoom forward back to that moment. That moment in time where you lurched your body between Sugan and the staff of the cryptech that you know likely would have killed him, giving your life for his. From a distance, like in a third person, you standing next to Imperial Inquisitor Quist, frozen in time as this moment is, you can see everything down to the minute detail. She looks at the cryptech up and down, careful to keep her hand on your gauntlet. As she strides forward with half a step and places her hand upon its mid-abdomen, because he was very tall.
Yeah.
What did he call himself?
The Chronomancer.
He fancied himself a master of time, then. And from what it appears, their kind have some level of mastery over space. She closes her eyes, and the moment moves forward slowly until it resumes its regular speed. And we see the blow sending you careening. But her eyes are upon the cryptech the entire time. There's a saying, old Terran even, that sufficient level of technology would be indistinguishable from magic. Such heresies, witchcraft, but here we see it before our very eyes. Even now, and she reaches out again, just as the camera pans over to Sugan, who's leveling his bolt pistol and trying to shoot this guy in the face, the force field catching the first couple of rounds. The moment frozen in time is when a bolt is colliding with the force field. She puts out her hand to touch it and very quickly lurches it back. I still cannot touch him now. She closes her eyes again Very slowly, it moves forward, just maybe 0.75 of a second. The force field is down, and we see a second bolt hitting him in the face and exploding, turning his face into a ferrous mass. And yet they can be injured. They can even be beaten. The camera, like, frozen on this moment, we can see him just like a crater with a blooming flower of explosion in the center of his face.
Kind of like the
As she-
T-1000.
Yeah. As she turns to you once more. And yet I wonder, why did he spare you?
He knew us. He knew me.
If he truly is a master of time. She looks all around her. Then maybe, and then she like, just like a double take, kind of taken aback. And we get this like blur for a moment as it's focused on your body suspended in midair, like above the chasm. And it slowly comes into focus in the background, the red robes of the Skitari, contrasted with the stark, pale skin of Inquisitor Vincent. And she stops for a moment, licks her lips, looks down, and then back up at you. I'm sorry, what were we talking about?
He knew last Bastion.
Right, then, if he really is a master of chronomancy, it's very likely that what he said is true. The inference that she was with you every step of the way through the mission. We are now just catching up at the end of what has probably been a while of reliving events at very high speed. If that is true, then we may very well see him again. I do not walk the path of the heretical Inquisitor. My faith in the Emperor remains. We will not sell our souls. But say I didn't die for nothing. He knew something. He had to have seen and known.
I put my hand on her shoulder. He is gone.
Let's make his sacrifice count. And yeah, I think we're gonna hard cut over to Hercilia there.
Hello. It's me.
You've been running ops.
Mhm.
You've been doing the damn thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say that probably 4 months into running ops, there's a notification that you have a new message, a specific operation. Very simple.
Is she on the Invictus from coming and going when she
yeah.
receives this? Yeah.
You've been staying on the Invictus as everyone else has. You take shuttles down when you run operations and run missions and stuff.
Yeah.
It's very simple. Nile Z is going to take out the head of a local Xenos cult. You, while everyone else is distracted, are going to sneak in and take a particular relic that this Xenos cultist leader has been hiding.
Okay.
Let's get... We'll call it a... Do you have stealth?
Let me see. I don't think I have anything in sneaking or stealth.
Then we will call it agility.
Agility? Okay. Agility. Okay. If they wanted somebody to run a stealth mission, they picked the wrong woman. Oh, I guess not. Okay.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
You rolled a fucking 5. No, they picked the
Yeah.
right woman for the job.
Woo!
There is a big old ruckus as a massive space marine making their way through and into this crowd of people
That's me.
causes more than ample distraction. You find it incredibly easy to sneak in, swipe the relic, and before you know it, the three of you, Sugin, Ursilia, and Nile, are on the same shuttle back to the Angelus Invictus. A strange black box with a locking mechanism with symbols that you remember seeing under the ocean all over it, and this locking mechanism right in the center of it with an incomplete symbol scrambled.
So this thing is basically a deadly Rubik's Cube.
It's a
We
good way
have
to put
such
it.
sights to show you.
Thank you, Dylan.
I don't get that reference, but it's funny.
I don't either. Yeah, it was still funny.
What? You guys have never seen
Hellraiser.
Never seen
Come
Hellraiser.
on.
I know
Oh.
Nick hasn't, but I can't believe Derek hasn't seen Hellraiser.
I saw
I think-
Hellraiser when I was literally 13 years old, and I don't remember any of it. To be honest
I
with
think I think Hellraiser is older than Nick.
It's much older.
you. It's
than
older
you
than
guys.
me.
Didn't they come out in like '89?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's older than me too. What's your excuse?
I just really like. movies
Pardon me
from
while I
Dave.
wither away and die.
I'm sorry.
I just have a way of making people feel old.
I just really like 80s movies.
You're just a baby.
I just like Clive Barker.
I'm a way little man, I am.
So Niall says, so what do you think was so important that Quist had us running down there without any backup?
No
Deniable
backup.
ops.
Her Celia seems to consider that. Also, probably suspicious that she's there just for no reason, apparently.
I think it's suspicious that the fucking space marine is there.
Niall is free to run his missions as he sees fit, and he saw fit to include you. He sees
That's
value
fair.
in including you.
Because he's loud.
He
And
does
makes the fun.
care.
He does care. He loves me.
how big is this cube compared
It is.
to me, a human?
Well, I'm assuming you're not in your armor right now because you were trying to run stealthy shit.
Yeah.
So it is like a piece of luggage. Like, you know, when you think of like this standard suitcase-sized piece of luggage, I don't know what the dimensions of it are.
Her Celia is in armor, but she's not in like her Paragon suit.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, of course, that makes sense. It's about the size of like a piece of standard lug. Again, I don't know what the dimensions are. Like 36 inches, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know how high it is if I was standing up.
Guesstimate.
Yeah, I'll
Like
say about
36 By
36 inches by about 12 inches wide.
So it's like this big slab.
Yep.
Basically. She had a case strapped to her back, and she'd just take it down and pop the top on it. And open it up and show it to Niall and Sugan.
Inside is... crystal's not the right word because it's amorphous in its shape. One moment it is multifaceted like a diamond. The next it is solid. The only quality that appears constant is the shape. Two cones placed like with the circular ends touching. It is very firmly set into a series of mechanical claws that seem to be holding it from moving, several of which have to be deactivated before you can even like fully open the kit.
I could take a look at it. I mean, I have like crafting and stuff like that.
You can give me a Science roll.
It's a thinky box.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're going to detect what heresy lies within this box. Science. I rolled a 3.
That is a good roll, my friend.
Jeez.
You extend your mind forward, Sugan, and you can feel this thing shrouded in latent power. This quality reminds you of a particular moment down below the depths. Maybe not terror, because you are a space marine, but of uncomfortability when the wraith that no one had seen dropped right down on top of you. As you come out of this moment, the resonance within you leads you to believe that this crystal thing is crucial to understanding how phasing properties might function.
Do I get any like hard information out of it? Like mechanical wise, like how this thing works, or just I just have that moment.
You definitely understand that it is a key component to those Xenos' capabilities of moving in and out of space, like those wraiths did.
In and out of space rather than in and out of the warp.
Yep,
This is beyond Sugan.
probably.
He can't fathom something like that. Well, like, genuinely, like, he is not an idiot. He is more ignorant than the average space marine, and the average space marine is very fucking smart. So, like, hyper intelligent. Like, we're talking, like, 130, 140 IQ for the average space marine. They're not stupid. So, Sugan's, like, maybe 110. So, you know, so... But even then, he can't fathom that. He's just like looking at this box, and he's attempting to fathom it.
It's easy to say that you're pretty damn smart when you can consciously decide which parts of your brain are active and which aren't.
Yes, literally. You just be like, I want this part to run. I
Yeah.
want to forget how motor skills work. I wish I had a switch like that. Jesus, that'd make things easier, huh?
Jesus Christ, circadian.
Hyperfocus on demand.
Yeah,
It's one of those
that's
ones.
called, you can turn off your frontal lobe. You can do that in real life. It's called alcohol. You can turn off your frontal lobe.
I like to be able to make my executive function work properly.
So Morgan fucking lifted. Yeah, everybody's
Yeah, like,
lifted.
Please, ADHD, go the fuck away.
That's the difference between a person who, like, a neurotypical is like, oh, the future, we'll be able to be superhuman, we'll be able to leap tall buildings or process our minds at hyperspeed. And ADHD folks like, Can I just focus on something for 5 minutes?
Yeah,
like how much surgery does
I'd
that
like to
take
not
to my brain?
Take 3 hours to get around to doing the dishes because
I
of
was gonna say.
executive function paralysis, please.
I was gonna say, in the future, my laundry will get done. Not like done, but like put away and done.
In the grim darkness of the 41st millennium,
There is
there
only
is
laundry.
hopefully slightly
Yeah.
more efficiency.
Not only wash and
No.
dry it and then sit around in a laundry basket for a week, but like sort it and put in the correct drawer.
This is the future that liberals want.
Sorted laundry.
This is the gay agenda.
Fuck. Could you imagine? Hold on, that's a Twitter post. Hold on a second.
All right. Well, I think that on this confounding crystal, we will take our break, folks. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick 5 to 10. We'll be right back with more Kill Team Last Bastion. Thank you so much for waiting. I surely do appreciate it. I am so sorry for that delayed break, but if you did not know, you can get 10% off of your custom DMDM Studios dice case by going to ko-fi.com/theshadysale using code RPGINN at checkout. There is some other fabulous minis on display there, other cool stuff that you can get. Natisha makes fantastic stuff. She's unbelievably talented 3D modeler and artist, so check her out. Check out the other stuff that she has available in the store. And yeah, thank you again to RPGN and to Natisha for the sponsoring. I love you. Let's get right back to it. Sorry, I was crying from laughing, chat. I learned some Eldritch knowledge.
Chat, can you look up the longest piece of literature and come back to the chat with it, please?
Don't do psychic damage to chat, please.
Oh, did you tell them about that
This
fanfiction I told you about?
This is my homework for the evening. Look up The Loud House.
I had to switch to White Claw.
Revamped. The Loud House
Psychic
revamped.
damage
Look it up.
did to
Look
me.
it up. Loud House revamped.
Oh God.
Fuck your stupid Warhammer bullshit. Look up The Loud House revamped and get back to me when you're done reading.
Damn it.
That's your homework assignment.
Okay. Refocusing. Five months after Kill Team Last Bastion took on the Cryptek beneath the oceans of Karlak, you are all summoned to a loading bay where your favorite Inquisitor, Adriel Quist, has gathered you all. There's no shuttles. There's nobody around except for the Magos. This Magos, which nobody's asked, so I haven't said up to this point, but has no name. He's only been referred to thus far, and always as the Magos. But behind him, arrayed neatly in stacks of 5, servitors, monotask servitors, no attachments, literally just legs to stand on. Adriel Quist asks that all of you stand back for a moment as the Magos picks up one of the, well, you've seen it at this point, Daxan, one of the hilts. It looks like a standard combat knife. The metal catches the light in quite a beautiful way, but other than that iridescent sheen upon it, looks no different from any other combat knife. Until he presses an activation rune, stabs it into the servitor, and with no effort whatsoever, drags down its belly, spilling its innards and its contents all along the floor. Adriel says, "Brothers and sister, I have great news for you. Our Magos here has been able to retrofit some of the technology that the Xenos used, that we might wield it in the Emperor's holy name. I present before you your very own phase blades." She gestures to a set of 5 combat knives. These knives have Phase shifter. If 3 or more degrees of success are achieved during the attack roll, the attack cannot be parried or dodged, and the damage is not reduced by the target's armor. Additionally, when being used to parry a weapon with the power field quality, the phase shifter weapon does not have any risk of breaking. She gestures over to the Magos, who now you see is wielding a bolter, sliding home a round. Click clack. He aims it at the other remaining servitors and just unloads upon them. The rounds seem to ripple through reality, suddenly exploding inside of multiple of these servitors at the same time. These rounds are phase rounds. Each of the kill team members have access to 1 magazine of special bolt rounds per mission. These rounds function only with a bolter or bolt pistol. If 3 or more degrees of success are achieved during the attack roll, the attack cannot be dodged, and the damage is not reduced by the target's armor. Obviously, she would not explain these to you in such terms. She would probably not even really explain to you at all anything about them because she doesn't really understand how they work. She just knows that they are now another tool in your tool belt to wield against the enemies of mankind. She steps aside for each of you to take up your custom iridescent bladed last Bastion combat knives.
Oh, yes, a fine addition to my collection.
I now
Chicken
have
whites.
4 knives.
Inquisitive quiz. I love that.
Helicoprion would walk out. I'm not going to take Xenotech heresy crap from this haunted ass world. Especially not with the weird psychic echoes and shit that's been going on. Nah, we're leaving that there.
I'll take
She's-
his
I'll take my fuck. I'll take yours too. Fuck.
Say
Fair
something.
one.
I'll take your knife too, motherfucker.
Mm.
She doesn't say anything. She just watches you go.
No, I'm definitely not taking that heretical Xenos tainted bullshit. And I'm deliberately walking out before anyone makes a choice.
Oh, he's gonna judge us on our decision.
Sorry.
Oh.
It's fine. I'm sorry.
Arcelia has a lot of conflicted opinions, and it shows on her face that she has a lot of conflicted opinions, but she's not going to accept them either, mostly because they aren't useful to her. She is neither mid nor short range. It's would just end up weighing me down.
Hey, if anyone ever calls her silly a mid, I will fuck them up.
Everybody carries a combat knife. This is just an upgrade to everybody's combat knife, which Helicoprion is rejecting.
Yes, but I already have a combat knife.
So rejecting it on principle.
Mixed feelings and multiple reasons.
Well,
I'll take her knife too.
No, I was gonna say-
No. I would like that knife. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I have someone to give it to.
Oh.
So we gotta make
boy.
sure the boy be protected. Give him Xenotech.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
something
gonna.
like
That
fine.
is the opposite of protect. You ever give a kid a Swiss Army knife? You know what they do with it? They fucking cut themselves because they're stupid and they play with
What's
you
your
normally don't let
intelligence?
kids hang out in a
Friggin', what's your
combat zone
intelligence?
either.
Sugan, what's your intelligence?
it. 30 something. Let me check.
Oh, he's smarter than you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, our boy's actually
Hold on.
really smart. I have his stats over here. It's pretty nice.
39. My hair
Smarter
off.
than you
of
by
40.
1 point.
Because that's the highest I'm allowed to make one of his
Yep.
characteristics.
I'm taking that knife on principle. No, I'm kidding. Sugan is a gregarious fellow, and he's not one to decline a gift, so he's going to take it. Though he may not use it.
At seeing Hercilia reject it, she gestures towards the new blade that she has at her side. And when she takes it out, she activates what would normally be a power field rune, but instead the blade turns discorporeal, invisible, before she takes her thumb off the rune and it becomes one with the universe once again. There's no shame in wielding the weapons of our enemies against them.
Inquisitor, you should know better than anyone that I have no qualms about giving them a taste of their own medicine, but it is the Xenos in particular that I cannot agree with.
I must suggest that you embody the irony of slaying an enemy with our own weapon. There is no greater pleasure.
Have you seen my Paragon suit? Crafted from Eldar Tech.
Then why do you decline this gift?
She looks at you like square in the eyes, Hercilia. Like kind of a neutral expression, but raises an eyebrow.
The rock eyebrows, like.
You didn't carry that box. That's all that she would say, and she'd excuse herself.
Yes, but I saw things in it.
It says she started walking off.
Perhaps. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, bud. You say that.
So as Hercilia leaves and the door closes, perhaps it is time I come clean with my kill team. What you are aboard is no mere vessel. The Angelus Invictus, it has been heavily modified, passed down, and improved with each hand. What you stand in now is the culmination of millennia of progress. If we do not make progress, we regress into darkness. Some would brand me a radical for that, and perhaps they would not be wrong. But I see a different path. I see the God Emperor's will in each and every one of you. Everything else, everything, is a tool, a mere means to accomplish our end. There can be no sanctity. There can be no sacrimony. We either win or we die.
Daxan would step forward onto the plinth, and without any pause, he would reach over and grab the blade and just sort of flip it over his hands and just feel the weight of it, like get used to it. Quickly flip it and catch it by its tip, and take it and right into his combat knife pouch, which is empty now that he has given his other knife to
Saloy.
the boy. Saloy, yeah.
The boy Saloy.
The boy. So, hey. And he would then look at the empty blade, or the unclaimed blade. I know someone who can hold this, until Hercilia decides to change their mind.
I
If
also
they
know
so-
someone who can hold this.
He would pause. Should we draw lots, brother?
I cannot for a game. I was simply going to give it to the one in charge of my regiment.
Then we do have worthy people to hand them to.
I agree. Your friend from the Mechanicus.
Yes, Saloy.
Perhaps he could be useful with such a weapon, but so could my commissar.
She looks to you. The name of your commissar, Sugan.
Let me pull up my list of 30 names.
Yeah, because I know I didn't write them down because I know that you
Oh,
generated a list of 30 names for your magnitude 30 horde.
No, that's the real 40k experience. I have 30 guardsmen in this unit. They all have names, and every time they die, I generate a new one.
And I know all about the planets they come from and their homes.
They all
and
came
what's
from
in their
Karlak.
cabinets.
They were the Karlak 323rd.
Let's see.
And now they're Tsugin's babies.
They're Sugan's troopers.
My little babies.
Welcome to the Roughnecks. Sugan's
I know-
Roughnecks. Hoorah.
I know they're here somewhere. Commissar
I think it was Eve, if I'm not mistaken, actually.
Eve. Oh, okay. Yeah, Commissar Eve. Yes, and I have. I'll list all 30 names from here.
No, you're good. So you tell her the name of the commissar, and she nods. It would be a shame to have a commissar in my service and not have them have a proper blade.
I would happily give mine to the commissar. I am not much for. My hands are often full these days. And I have no iron hands. I have no spare arm.
She nods. If that is your wish, but
It's not mine. He would take the blade and flick it to you, Sukin. Take it. Saloy already has my old one.
Yes, I shall. My thanks.
He would nod to Sukin and the Inquisitor.
she looks over at you, Daxan. If I'm not mistaken, the time that Saloy spent in the Mago service already bequeathed him with a weapon of his own.
Indeed. Yes, something intriguing and suitable to their skill sets. I was unaware of Sugan having acquired a regiment of fighters in need of a tool.
Yes, there is a small platoon. There is Sharir de Alexis Gerhardt.
That's very nice, Brother Sugan. Now, I've many things to attend to, but there is one final order of business I would like to bring to your attention before I spend probably another month of monotony. I picked up a lead. What's up?
I was gonna say, honestly, it's very wholesome that Suga knows all of their names.
It's so wholesome.
He's committed all of them to memory. Honestly,
Mega wholesome.
And the Artificer. Yeah, you got me saying Artificer, you bastard. Artificer armor. That has all the names of all the
Wholesome.
regiments.
I've picked up a lead. Our old nemesis, the Death God. A penal colony called Zion. It's on the other side of Jericho Reach. And if the Astro Telepaths are to be believed, the Great Devourer stretches its tendrils close. The time is scant. But we have a window if we are to seek out our vengeance. You have given me closure, brothers. I would be remiss not to pay you back in kind.
When do we leave?
Once things are stable planetside. Maybe a month.
We will be ready.
Jackson would have his comms open so that way Helicoprion can hear this. The second he hears, like, oh, your old nemesis, and he just like open comm, click, to just so that our buddy knows. We know.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Daxton would just nod. about time this weapon saw its purpose. He would nod to the blade on his back.
All right. We will.
I do have a question.
What's up?
So, especially considering that I'm human, I feel like coming into such close contact with a relic like that would probably mess up Hercilia for a little bit.
Yep.
At least for a while.
Probably
And
some radiation poisoning at least.
Yeah, that was my reasoning for that decision. But didn't get a chance to ask you beforehand.
Yeah, you probably would have had to be seeing Dexan about getting some restoratives, getting purged of radiation in what best manner he can.
I also imagine. Has anybody ever had like a very quick blood sugar drop?
Mm-hmm.
That
Yep.
that feeling that you get where you're really lightheaded and disoriented is probably a lot of like what she's dealing with as well. Of just struggling to stay in touch with reality every now and again.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the next month probably comes and goes as you're gaining your strength back. Daily radiation treatments with Dexan. But the month comes and the month goes. And finally, at the very end of it, Adriel Quist arrives aboard her personal shuttle. Cleared from dry dock, and in the aftermath of the War of Karlak. The situation is stable, and the Xenos cultist presence is within acceptable limits. Adriel Quist handed off the remainder of the purgation rites to a junior inquisitor, and Prince Prefect Louis the 22nd has been elevated to the status of planetary governor. He now oversees the continued efforts of rebuilding and repreparation of Karlak to serve as the linchpin of the Achilles Crusade. Finally, at the end, the final moment before the vessel disembarks, we see a funeral service. Only the five of you and Inquisitor Quist present. There are red candles giving off a very faint glow all around a completely black room with an empty black coffin. There's a liturgy being dispensed by a servitor built into the wall for just such purposes. Dying is common in the arms of the Inquisition. But as it reaches its closure, the last dirge droning out, Quist steps forward up to the podium, the sensors swirling around a misty air and floor. She opens her mouth to speak, finding no words. A single tear rolls down her cheek, and she bites her lip before looking down. And an opportunity is presented before the kill team. You were the last people to see the Inquisitor before he died. Would any of you like to say a word?
Sugan, I'm gonna, if I may,
Go ahead.
gonna say
Yeah, by
I'm
all means.
gregarious.
Yeah.
Sugan is going to step forward, and in his comforting nature, he carefully rests one of his baseball mitt-sized hands on her shoulder.
She kind of looks up at you, before, like, just very quickly turning her head down as more tears are just coming in her moment of vulnerability.
The Inquisitor, he served the Emperor throughout his whole life. And he did it to the best of his ability, even in the end. To thwart the Xenos threat, he gave his life. And in his last moments, he was illuminated by the light of the Emperor. He apologized, but there was no such need for an apology. For his actions were valorous. Though he may have failed along the way, the ultimate goal that he had sought was achieved. You, if it was not for you, Inquisitor, we never would have found him. We never would have been able to assist him in this endeavor. And for that, I'm eternally thankful. To have met him, to have known him, and to have served alongside him for the brief time that we were able. He was a true child of the Emperor.
With tears in her eyes, she looks back up at you, weakly smiles, nods.
Dugan's giving her a knowing look like, I could say more, and I know that you cared about him a lot, but this look on my face should be enough.
Yeah.
He has a very expressive face.
She kind of blinks hard a couple of times and then steals her expression. The tears just... It's kind of uncanny how instantly they just stop. He was a good man.
If we had more men like him in the Imperium, we would be winning this war a lot faster.
A noble servant of the Emperor. Thank you, brothers, for coming. Sister,
Dex.
I appreciate your candor in this matter. You're saying, Omni?
Oh, as everyone is saying these things to the Inquisitor, Daxian would walk up to the empty casket and take a knee down before it and place his blade on the ground and lay a hand on top of it. Before he begins, he's going to turn and look back at the Inquisitor. In my chapter, we have a ritual we do for the departed. Would you consider it... Would it be within honor for me to do so for him?
She kind of looks around at the faces of the other brothers and at Hercilia before looking back at you, nodding. A worthy send-off.
He would nod and place his hand on the empty casket. When a knight, Numenera, passes, we speak the oath they embodied in their life and in their death. The Inquisitor embodied the oath of the sword, through and through. And he begins to speak through his helmet vox. And as he does, the voices that what little bit of his chapter he could take with him are the audio logs of the paragons, the chaplains of his chapter, which he uses every morning when he meditates. And for the first time, he plays it over his vocal comm, so it can be heard. And so when he speaks, it's coming in Doppler with another, somewhat more erudite, slightly different accented voice matching his. We are the blade of the Imperium. Our purpose, to strike, to cleave, to descend upon the wicked, as swift as dawn, as sure as death. We fall that the Imperium may rise. And slowly he's going to stand up and take a small segment of metal from his belt and place it on the casket. Goodbye, brother. He's going to gently pat it, and turn around as the audio cuts out from his helm.
Thank you, Brother Texan. She nods at you.
He would nod. Sukin said it better. My chaplain is better at this than I am.
I have a question.
What's up?
In the art that you have for Inquisitor Quest, she's wearing a sister's uniform.
Mm-hmm.
Is she a sister? Or was a sister?
You never asked her before, have you?
I suppose not. Inquisitor, may I ask?
She looks over at you.
Were you is in order?
She slowly nods. A lifetime ago.
Is she wearing anything that would indicate like colors or a sigil? What order
She's
she
in all black. Nah, she doesn't
Well,
even carry with her
ha-
anything like that anymore.
has she in the past then? That I could
You've
recall?
probably seen, like... She does have tattoos on her face.
Oh, is she no, she doesn't have white hair, so she's not with the Bloody Rose.
Nope.
Okay, then can I identify by
Oh yeah, you'd absolutely...
tattoos?
Yeah.
You know why a lot of sisters have white hair, right?
It's actually only Order of the Bloody Rose. It's to honor one of their I forget what rank she had, but and I can't even remember her name because I'm not in the Bloody Rose, so I didn't write any of this down. It's to honor a fallen sister that was so prolific they all dye their hair white.
I think you're talking about Dominka, right? Sister Dominka?
Like I said, I don't remember. I didn't write it down.
So the story behind that is her hair turned white when she had an encounter with the God Emperor himself. Because his power was so great, it literally physically changed her form. So that's why they all changed their hair to white, is because that particular sister had that experience.
Some sisters outside of the Bloody Rose do that, but yeah, sisters of the Bloody Rose are.
Yeah, it's not.
White.
I was gonna say it's not
Try
common
hards.
outside of bloody. Yeah, yeah.
Because she was like a.
I think Celestine got a job for free when she became.
Yep.
A living saint, yeah.
That'll do it. Yeah, Dominica.
So, what order could I identify that she used to be with?
It's certainly not one that you're familiar with, but you recognize the iconography, I guess is the proper term for it.
Okay. How do you mean?
So, what is the tie that binds? What is the most common tattoo that you are familiar with seeing?
Probably the fleur de lis because Hercilia has one on her face too.
Right. So, it's not exactly a fleur de lis. It's 3-headed dragon under her right eye. One of those has horns. One of them has one horn. One of them has no horns.
Yeah, no, that definitely doesn't sound familiar. She'd be watching it for a minute and shake her head when she realized that she couldn't identify it, and now wasn't the time to bring up that conversation. I don't know how you do things in your order, but in the Sacred Rose we sing a hymn for the fallen.
Sugan likes singing.
She bows her head.
Do you know it, Inquisitor?
She bows her head. Of course. Would you lead us, sister?
Rasilia is usually pretty stoic, but she'd reach over and offer her hand to the Inquisitor.
She'll take it, firmly grasp your hand.
Rasilia would clear her throat. She obviously wasn't much of a singer, but she'd sung the hymn many times. I'm not gonna sing. I'm not gonna sing. I'm not gonna sing. Fuck you. No. I'm also not gonna come up with a hymn on the spot either. That's not happening.
That's fair. I am just kidding.
Sugan sings the national anthem for everybody. Sugan sings the hits.
I didn't know you were Canadian.
Oh, Canada!
All right, so the funeral proceeds. There's a couple days of preparations as everything is put away. The ship is making its way to the edge of the system, and finally, warp translation. That's where we're going to end the session. I know that was a brief one, guys. I'm sorry,
Oh.
but that's it. That's all we're getting into tonight.
All right.
By all means, man.
That's a good one, though.
That was a
Damn.
good one.
Yeah.
That's a
End
good
it where
one.
end it where it
Oh,
needs
yeah.
to end.
Yeah, you know me. Pacing is big for me.
Yeah. A little bit of a lull from the action. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, we had
It's
some.
nice to see the nuanced side of Marines occasionally, you know?
I think it's important. Yeah, I think that is very important. One of the things that you regularly come upon anytime that you read or audiobook Space Marine fiction is like the bolter porn is great. I fucking love it. I love the just like sick action sequences of like blades and bolter. Yeah, it's awesome. But also, I want to know what makes them tick. I want to know what kind of person they are. I want to know what kind of values they have and like how they view the world around them. Most of the time, you know what the answer to that is. It's I kill. But there's more to Space Marines than that, and that's why the Horus Heresy era is so fascinating, because it was when they still had these grand idealistic views of building something, building a better future. They talk about it all the time. Like, when the war is over, we're going to build wonderful things together, and it's like Shakespeare, because you fucking know that it's not how it goes.
You know what made me
even-
so sad? Ozek Araman apparently had planted a vineyard, and he was making wine. He was planning for his retirement. That's the saddest goddamn shit in the universe.
Like, even Horus was planning more diplomatic approaches to interacting with large-scale, like, non-Imperium human empires, and then the Anatheme was stolen.
Erebus fucking sucks, bro. Spoiler alert for the Horus Heresy.
Fuck
but,
Erebus.
I mean,
All my homies hate
you-
Erebus.
That's
You
not
know-
even a spoiler.
Yeah.
The minute you meet
Well, no,
his
what I'm about to
ass,
say, what I'm
him.
about to
Yeah.
say is kind of a spoiler, but not really, because I'm gonna say some shit that like people that like Warhammer 40k but aren't like all up in the guts of 40k are gonna be like, I have no idea what you mean. I just listened to the part where Erebus kills Erda, and I was like,
Bro.
Yeah, no, my eyes are glazing over right now. I don't know what
It
that.
was
I mean,
awful.
like, I know very
Don't worry
little
about it.
about the Horus Heresy.
it was awful.
Just know it's all
Trust me.
Erebus's fault. Everyone else, like, not even close. It's Erebus. Like, I can point
Magnus
to one
did
dude
nothing
with a
wrong.
gun.
I was literally about to say Magnus did nothing wrong. Thank you.
Everyone else fucked up, but Erebus is the fuck up. He's the guy
Mega
who should
true.
not exist.
he got
Ultra
on the
mega
phone
true.
with his daddy.
Super
he's just
ultra
like,
mega true.
he's like, Daddy,
Like,
Daddy,
every-
this evil. And Dad's like, shut the fuck up! You're doing this all. He's like, Daddy, I just tried to make a phone. Shut the fuck up! He like hangs up on him, and the world was doomed.
Every family has the one member that's the black sheep, and then there's Erebus, who needs to be taken outside and shot.
Yeah, Erebus
That's the
just
yellow
sucked.
dog.
Devil boy.
The Astartes that even Lorgar couldn't love. It was like, yeah, no, you're in the doghouse. Goodbye. They never talk
Check it
to
out.
me again.
Taking out back like old space yeller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Pa, I'll do it. He's my space marine.
That's the one thing that could unite all the Primarchs is just, so we all agree Erebus is a knob, right? Yep, all like 18 of them knocking on his door and beat him up.
Yeah.
You know why there's two
Cute.
missing Primarchs, right? They actually liked Erebus.
Oh no, they
They
did
deserved
not.
it.
No, but Horace took his face, so at least Horace did something right. Well, anyways, stick
Anyways.
around, folks. We're gonna be raiding into Metwick, homie of the channel, obviously, and playing RimWorld. So obviously, we're fucking raiding into Metwick. He's playing like my favorite computer game, and I think I might be responsible for getting him back on that too because
Oh,
we were
no.
talking about it a lot, like the last time we got together for Darker Stars. So stick around, but let's do our shout outs, starting with Red. Homie, where can people find you?
Oh, I'm Red. I'm one of the 3 primary colors. You can find me at VA Redemption on Twitter and on Twitch, Redemption VA. A little bit confusing, but what are you gonna do? Some fucking church took my name. But anyway, I do a lot of Twitch streams. I think the next time I'm live is Monday. Yeah, I think it is Monday. Monday with
Soldiers of Fortune.
Yeah, Soldiers of Fortune, our Pathfinder 2nd Edition campaign. They just secured a base, pretty cool. Tuesday, I will run Magic, but let me just say this: I do not condone the actions of Wizards of the Coast. I will not go any further than that, but I will play Magic because I love the game. I fucking hate the company. I think us playing Warhammer can all agree.
I do not agree with all
Yep.
the things that I forgot Games Workshop does. I
He's
also
still
don't
enjoying it.
agree with like literally anything that WotC does. I'm
We
right
still
there with you,
enjoy the
bro.
fiction. The thing that was not created by the executive.
It's a tool
entity.
to live out and create things that we as creatives want to create. That's what we
100%.
like about it.
Yeah, I didn't mean to soapbox there, my bad. But
You're good.
yeah, no, Tuesday I will be running Magic. Omni and Derek are going to have to face the torment of Mono Blue.
I'm bringing my all proxy because fuck WotC. Where's all
Proxy, because fuck WotC. I need a shirt
Yep.
that says
Nice.
that. So speaking of proxy, you can find me on Patreon, Redemption Altars. I'm actually working on a piece right now, but you can find that you can get all my printables for $3 a month. You can go there and download all my printables and print them out. I have them sized where they are perfect Magic card size, so you can go ahead and just get those, print them out, stick them in a sleeve.
I was looking for it.
I got a bunch of these. I'm probably just gonna say fuck it and sell them. I got these bad boys. These are arcane signets that I have yet to give out because I forgot about the giveaway. I'll probably just restart the giveaway, honestly. But or you could buy them from me. Just ask me.
Oh yeah.
Like $5, just cover that's just to cover shipping for me. So yeah.
Sick.
Other than that, support me on Patreon. I very much appreciate it. I'm still trying to get out of my household, so anything, you can go on my coffee, buy some of my maps and stuff like that. You can
Fantastic maps.
Thank you. $2.50 every week. I put out a new battle map, and that's about $2.50 a month. So you can go do that. There's a map pack. Blah blah blah. New map will be up usually on Sundays. Sometimes I post them earlier, later, but they will be up. So yeah, I very much appreciate any and all support you can show me. I don't expect you to give me stuff for free. I'd like for you to buy my products, commission me to do a multitude of things. I do literally anything you could think of. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Red. Love you, buddy. Much appreciated. Thank you for being here as always. Soul, what's good, dude?
Hey there. I am not a primary color. You can't find me everywhere. I'm not in the flowers. I'm not in the trees. But I am Soul. You can find me everywhere online as Soul's Rolls. I do a lot of different stuff. I do health and wellness. I do social media. I do TTRPGs. I stream on Fridays here with Darker Stars. We are also playing Warhammer 40k. You will see Derek there playing a a fantastic heavy bolter tech marine, which is a nice exchange. We have bonded in.
I blew shit up.
Yeah, we have bonded about the might of full auto weapons. It has been fantastic.
I love melting hordes. It's unbelievably satisfying.
It really is. It's nice. Like hordes are not really a threat, but it's nice to just be like, you know what? I'm just gonna delete 30 or 40 dudes.
Feel like a fucking Power Ranger for a minute, you know?
It's cool. But no, other than that, you can find me pretty much everywhere. I'm moving away from Twitter, kind of moving on to more things like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok and YouTube Shorts are coming as well. So hit me up there. I generally try and do a little bit of everything. Yeah, a little bit of tips, a little bit of advice, some motivational stuff. Shout outs to the homies, some reviews. I'm also doing on Thursdays, Totally True TTRPG trivia, which I promise is not just full of lies. So yeah, catch Thursdays. It'll definitely educate you. You will learn a lot.
Sick,
It won't
dude.
necessarily be useful, but you'll learn it.
Well, awesome. Thank you for being here as always, man. Love running for you. Love playing games with you. Much appreciated as always, dude. Omni, what's going on in your neck of the woods?
Hello, everyone. I'm the Last Omnitect, your favorite robot American, and you guys can find me on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/TheLastOmnitect, as well as also my Twitter, the link right there. I keep the same tag everywhere. I'm also on Instagram, trying to get more active on that, posting my art, my development, things like that, because again, Twitter is on fire, and I don't feel like dying of smoke inhalation. On top of that, also, I am up to a lot this week. This week is the week I run my 2 games. So tomorrow we're going to be running Wild Skies Britannia, our lighter than air Pathfinder 2e game. I have entertainingly 3 of my players here, Dylan, Red, and also Derek in this. I'm super hyped to have them. Also, my fiance Vaughn plays in that, as well as the ever incredible and lovely Skagwater. So if you're interested in joining us, please do. My players are super fucking fun. I've been enjoying this game so much. I've been doing world building of it every week. I'm sure you guys will see more of it. And yeah, that's going to be tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. EST on my Twitch channel. And this Saturday at noon, I think it's noon, as I recall, CST.
Yeah.
We're going to be running the next episode of Legacy First Flight, the first ever live play of my Legacy Storytelling the World of Tomorrow system, which has been going really fucking well, and our players just unlocked a terrifying, like, interstellar level threat potential item. And we're going to see how they handle getting off the planet, because that's going to be entertaining.
Running.
Other than that, keep an eye on me. Yeah, run forever. Like, also, you guys can catch me on my Twitch just doing world building, art streams, as well as rule smithing. Please feel free to tune in. I do all sorts of fun stuff. We even have like an every other week hangout session where we eat breakfast together called the Breakfast Club and play video games. And it's Guardian games right now in Destiny. So, anyway, that's me. Thank you guys so much for having me along. I love all of you. You're amazing.
Oh, love you, buddy. Thank you so much for being here. As always, much appreciated. And of course, Dylan. Happening, dude.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dylan. You can find me at DylanHerbst6 on Twitter and elsewhere from there. I'm a miniature painter, I'm an actor, I'm a photographer, and I'm a general shitposter. It's been a rough week so far, but we're getting through it. And thanks no small part to every one of the lovely people here. You can catch me here every other Wednesday playing Dietrich Stern, the resident melee specialist of Kill Team Bastion, and every other Thursday playing Goro the Tiefling Fighter on Omni's
The resident melee specialist. Skies of Britannia.
One of them, yeah, basically.
That's true.
I wanted to play
Magus.
I wanted to play a Magus, but then 2 other people wanted to play a Magus, and now one of them is playing a wizard. So there.
I'm a wizard. I'm a wizard lizard, but I'm a snake.
Snake a little snag.
Well, thank you, Dylan. Go ahead.
Good. Happy to be here, as always. It's lovely to be here. I'm glad I can make it.
Well, super happy to have you, man. Thank you again for being here. Much love, much appreciation as always, dude. And Elise, last but certainly not least, what's going on, homie?
Sorry, E-least. I made that joke and had to repeat it because I was muted. I'm Elise. You can find me at Queen Swords D&D on Twitter and on Etsy, where I am running an Etsy store, and I also create character art. And I'm usually around somewhere in somebody's game. Be here on Saturday, be here on Monday, and thank you for having me. I had to break up the sausage party in this particular game. Somebody had to.
It's been great having it. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm one of the bisectors. I wasn't complaining.
True.
You're all in danger.
You're all in danger.
Much love,
I don't
Elise.
know.
Thank
I
you
think
for
we
being
have plenty of queers in this party. No less of the sausage party, nonetheless.
here. Literally, nobody here is like heteronormative. So
No.
In or out of game.
Well, thank you, Elise, for being here. Much love, much appreciation as always, dude. Once again, thank you, Andrew, for the hydrate once more before we go down for the evening. But we are going to be raiding into Metwick, so stick around for that. Metwick rules. We love Metwick. I will be seeing you guys tomorrow over on Omni's channel at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, right? 7:30 Pacific time. Is that right?
7:30 p.m. EST.
Yeah. And then on Friday, right here at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time for Darker Stars, hosted by Souls Rolls. On Saturday, Omni is hosting Legacy right here at 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, you can catch us live right here with Covet Syndicate, continuing through our journey of the Morning Castle, finally onto the lower level. That is 2 levels of the castle down, with at least a couple more to go. I'm sorry. I love it. On on Monday, you can catch me over at Red's channel, twitch.tv/VA Redemption, at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time with Soldiers of Fortune. I have an alchemist shop, and we also have a base which I'm going to make a train that does not require tracks. So that's hype. Then on Tuesday, over at twitch.tv/VA Redemption with some Commander. Once again, playing that Orzhov deck that I love so very much. And then next Wednesday, you can catch us live right here at DMDM Studios at 6:30. What time? Yeah, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Fuck, we were supposed to do this at 6:30. I forgot. Good night, everybody.